Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another nail order unboxing. I know I just recently did a nail order unboxing, but I wanted to make sure I had this video up while the collection was still available in case this was something you were interested in. So this is the nail order summer collection. The previous collection that I reviewed was the mermaid collection. It was just a collection of a bunch of really pretty shimmers and shiny, shimmery, glitzy shades, whereas this is like their official summer collection, and it's a much smaller collection. There are 5 gel polishes in here. The theme is Ice Cream Van. I think it is so cute. This sleeve is adorable. It's really, really fun. And the colors inside look amazing. So let's jump into it. I can't wait to do some swatches. So as always, the box is like a sleeve over a box. So the sleeve has like the collection name on it, and then inside we have this really nice hefty box. When I was moving like a week ago, 2 weeks ago at this point, I can't even remember, I don't know, time flies. These boxes were actually great for moving all of my nail ordered polishes that I had, because I have bought a lot of collections of theirs, so packing them all up to move was actually really helpful. So these boxes are great. You can see they have like a nice foam padding, and each of the gel polishes are snug in their own little compartment. So it's really snug. Nothing gets like jostled around, nothing spills or leaks. It was great for shipping and great for moving too. So we have a bunch of different colors here. I am super excited because this is like a neon collection. But one of the things that I always say about nail order, as I'm just pulling these out so we can do some swatches, is that they have really interesting undertones for their gel polishes. They're not like, I mean, they do have like regular standard, you know, run-of-the-mill like basic colors like Roy G. Biv, like a classic red, classic blue, classic green, but a lot of their gel polishes have really unique undertones and really unique like just depth and undertone and like different things. I don't know how to describe it other than like really interesting undertone that I find is really unique, and I don't really see as much across other brands. So you can see like these are neon, and it's going to be a neon collection, and I'm curious to see if it's like obviously neon or if there has like some sort of interesting undertone or something unique to this collection, because based on like the tops, they look like they're neons with a little bit of a twist, but it is hard to tell because this is just like obviously a manufactured plastic top. So we're gonna open them up, do some swatches. I'm really excited because neons with a twist sounds like a lot of fun. So let's jump in. So I have my swatch sticks ready. I just labeled all of them, and I'll have my label maker that I use and the swatch sticks linked down below in case you're curious. They're from Amazon. The link is not affiliated or anything like that, but in the event that you were interested, I really like the label maker. So we are starting off with Screwball. Look at this gorgeous color. That is so pretty. So I wouldn't necessarily call this neon per se, and I think the color is pretty true to the top. So I wouldn't necessarily call this a neon. I think more like the green and the yellow are more like neon-y, but this is a really gorgeous blue color, and I love that it's not like a sky blue. It's a bit deeper than that. Like sky blue is a little bit lighter. It has like feel like a bit like a hint twinge of like a slight purpley undertone. Now obviously sky blue is not purple, but I'm looking out my window right now and it's about like 1:30 in the afternoon, and like the sky is like this gorgeous light blue, but there's almost like the tiniest hint of like a periwinkle. That's more like what I'm thinking of. Like a sky blue almost has like a periwinkle undertone. So this isn't necessarily sky blue, but it's definitely a light blue. It kind of leans a bit like seafoamy. It's such a gorgeous color. And when it comes to like colors and describing them, obviously everything is like relative to what it's sitting next to. So obviously this looks really, really blue. I'm sure if I put it next to a very blue color, it might take on a bit of a greenish tinge. If I put it next to a green, it will look very, very blue. Everything is relative to what it's sitting next to. But honestly, I think this color is so, so gorgeous. And I'm going to do two coats on all of them just so we can really build up the pigment. But this color is so pretty. It's like this like light blue, but like starting to very slightly edge into seafoam, which I think is really, really beautiful. So here it is built up with 2 coats. I love this color. I think it's so cool. Blue is one of my favorite colors and green is my actual favorite color. So having this blue that's like on the verge, now obviously like it's so very, very slightly on the verge of being green, but I love it. I think it's such a cool color. Really, really pretty. So let's move on to the next one. This is the actual green one. So this is a Calippo, and I'm expecting this to be like a bright neon green. Oh yeah, that is like acid green. That is great. I love that color because I don't think I actually have a neon green like this in my collection. As much as I love greens, I tend to usually go for like more like forest greens, darker greens, olive greens, or very, very light greens. A bright neon green isn't necessarily the first color I'm going for when I'm going for a green. So I just don't have a lot of that in my gel polish collection because it's just not the color that I choose. So it's fun to have it in this full collection so that I can actually like have a color like this on hand should I want it. And all of these colors are available separately as well. So if you don't want the full collection, you can definitely go onto their website and buy the individual colors. And I feel like I should also mention, in case you're new here or if you've never seen any of my Nail Order unboxing videos, Nail Order is a pro-only brand. So you do have to have some sort of nail certification to be able to purchase from them. If that's something that you were interested in doing, if you've ever wanted to get your nail certification, you can actually take some of their online courses, get certified with them, and then be able to purchase their products. But this video is not sponsored and I bought the collection myself, but I feel like it's important to mention that in case there are new people here and are curious about this brand, because it's quickly become one of my favorites. In case you haven't noticed, I have been purchasing all of their collections since last autumn, and I don't think I'll be stopping anytime soon. I love this color. It's so bright. Let's do a second coat. Here it is built up with 2 coats. When this was in the lamp, it was so insanely like glow in the dark neon. It was really, really cool. I love this color and I love that I have this yummy acidy green in my collection now. This was a really, really cool color. I like that. So moving on now to the yellow. I love that this is like a neon rainbow of a sort. So this is the shade Twister. Whoa, okay. That's not what I was expecting at all. I tried to avoid spoilers, which I definitely did. I just saw like the collection with the colors, but I didn't actually look at any swatches that anyone else has done or what they had on their website, because I like being slightly surprised. Obviously, it's not a complete surprise because you can see the colors on their website based on like the bottles and stuff, but I wanted it to be like a slight surprise for me. And this is, as the name says, definitely a twist, because I was expecting this to be much more yellow. I was not expecting it to have this much of a green undertone to it. It's like a neon olive green color. It's so interesting. Okay, I need to swatch that because that is really cool and unexpected, and I love that. So let's do a swatch over here. Ooh, it's such a cool color. And after I do the second swatch, I'll like compare it to the other one. Obviously, they're totally different colors. This one is like a much murkier. It's like a neon, swampy, murky green. It's really cool because the undertone is like definitely giving like this like murkiness, but because it has this bright neon effect to it, it's super interesting. I love that. And that's what I was saying earlier with like the different undertones of Nail Order's polishes. It's like, how do you describe this? Is it green? Is it yellow? It's somewhere in between. It's like a yellow, green, green, yellow with like a murky undertone. It's slightly olive, but it's also neon at the same time. It is so cool. So I'll do a second coat of this and then I'll compare it to the other green shade. Obviously they're very different, but just so we have like a comparison, because again, everything looks different when it's sitting next to something else. Like color is all relative. So let's see how this looks with the second coat. Here is Twister built up with 2 coats. I am loving this murky neon chartreuse goldeny yellow, like it is such a cool color. I absolutely love this, and it was such a surprise because I was expecting it to go more of like a highlighter yellow, and it definitely was a surprise. So just for comparison, this is it next to a Calippo. So I think it definitely still has that like green undertone to it. I feel like if I was organizing this on my swatch sticks, I keep like my swatches organized by color, I would put this with the greens more than the yellows, I think. But let me know what you would do, because it's like on its own, you're like, oh yeah, that's like a yellow with some green undertone. And then you put it next to the green and you're like, oh wait, no, that's actually like really green. So that's what I'm saying about like their really unique undertones. They're super, super cool. I love this grungy chartreusey neon. It's the coolest thing ever. Okay, I really like that color. Moving on to the next one, we have Solero. So we've got an orange over here. Okay, so this is the type of orange that I like to call Wacky Mac. It's like that, like Wacky Mac or Velveeta or any of those like boxed pastas that have the cheddar cheese in it. I mean, is it even real cheddar cheese? Probably not. I feel like they used to say with real cheddar, but I don't know, I'm skeptical. When something is a color like this, I question whether it's real or not. But this reminds me of like that powdered cheddar cheese mixed with some milk and thrown into a pasta with some butter, and it's making me hungry. So I do like these colors. And when I say it reminds me of Wacky Mac, I am not saying that in a negative way at all whatsoever. It's just a way to like describe the color, but I love it. You can see like as I'm applying it, it does have like the slightest bit of a streakiness to it. And again, that's not a bad thing either. I'm not saying that as a negative. It's just to point out that this has a very strong white base to it. So the pigment is not as strong as the other colors that we just swatched. You can see there's like a bit of like separation between there because there is such a strong white base to it that's giving it this very, very neon murky color. I'm sure once you build it up to a couple of coats, it'll like fill out, which is why I like doing 2 coats on everything, just so you can really get the real effect. I feel like it's the only way that it's fair to the color to really give it its best shot. But this color is definitely very, very white based and very, very cool. Again, not as neon as I was expecting it to be based on the cap, but again, it's very close. So maybe I should be relying on the caps a little bit more. They are very close in color to what they end up being. I thought this would be more of a neon collection, so maybe I just went in with a bias. But I love this little Wacky Mac color over here. And now I'm hungry and want pasta. Here is Solero built up with 2 coats. You can see it really fills out nicely over there, and you don't see any of like the streakiness or any of the like shadowing where the pigment kind of separated. I don't want to say the pigment separated because it really didn't. I think this is just a much thinner consistency gel compared to the other ones, likely because there's so much white to it that if it was too thick in consistency, it might have a hard time curing. So this is definitely one that I would say needs at least 2 coats. But you can see it builds up really beautifully once that happens, and it is such a fun color. I love orange. I actually did a video a little while ago of like doing like hunting for the best perfect orange. A color like this is not my perfect orange. This is like a much lighter version of what I would consider a perfect orange, but I do like that this color a lot, and I have so many oranges now, and this one can join the collection, so I am excited for that. This is a really pretty color. And finally, moving on to the last one, I love that this was a cute little 5 gel collection. It's like the perfect little summer treat, just like a perfect little ice cream. Ooh, now I want ice cream. Okay, I'm like making myself starving with this collection. Next up, we have Raspberry Ripple. It is the pink of the collection. Ooh. So again, it's not as bright as I was expecting, and I kind of like that. I really like it because it's bright, but it's also dark. You know, like sometimes like kind of like with this color over here, it's bright and it's light. Whereas this is bright but a dark color. I love those kinds of colors, like a bright but dark blue, a bright but dark green, something like this. I feel like it's such an oxymoron that it's the coolest thing ever, because like you don't expect dark colors to be bright, but then, you know, you get a color like this and you're like, oh wow, bright colors can be dark and dark colors can be bright, and it just opens up a whole world of just so many different options. I love it. And again, just nail order with their really, really cool undertones, because this has like the slightest bit of a purple. Like obviously this is not a purple, this is definitely a pink color, but it's got the slightest hint of a purple that's just giving it this really, really gorgeous deep tone while still being very bright and summery. This is such a cool color. I really, really like it. Let's build up 2 coats and then we'll check out the whole collection together. So something really interesting I wanted to point out, I just did the 2nd coat over here, but I have not cured it yet. I was just doing it off screen, and I noticed that it looks much darker after it's cured than when it's freshly applied. This is the first time I think I've experienced something like this with nail order, and I'm not saying that this is necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something I feel I should point out because it looks really bright and light as it does in the bottle when you apply it. But after curing it, it's a bit darker and it doesn't have as much of that brightness. So just something to know. Again, not a good thing, not a bad thing. I like this color as well, but just, you know, for your awareness, like if you were interested in this color because you like this color, just know that after it cures, it takes on a much darker tone. It definitely pulls in more of that purple. So I thought that was interesting. So just wanted to let you know before I popped it into the lamp to do the cure for the 2nd coat. So while I was waiting for the pink Raspberry Ripple Gel Swatch to Cure. I realized that I mentioned when I was swatching this shade over here, Solero, the orange one, that it was like a bit of like a wacky matte color, and talking about that and talking about how I did a video a while back getting a bunch of orange different gel polishes from different brands, different companies, and just trying to find my perfect orange gel polish. And if you're curious if you're curious about that video, you can go and check that out on my channel. I have it linked in the description box. But I remembered thinking that while I was doing that video, I had another color from Nail Order that also had that wacky MAC kind of orange with a lot of white base to it, feel to it. And I was just curious to see how similar that color was to this one, in case you were wondering about this, if you wanted to know if it was similar or something like that. So this is the shade Ibiza from Nail Order as well, and it was another color. You can see from the caps they look very different, but it was another color that reminded me of Wacky Mac. So I just wanted to do a bit of a comparison in case you were wondering if they were the same thing, if it also brought to mind, or if you're wondering, or if you're thinking about getting the shade Solero. Just, you know, I figured a good comparison would be helpful. So you can see here the colors. So they're definitely very different. I think that they are very much in the same family, but this one actually is a lot more neon than this one. So the shade Ibiza is darker and definitely much brighter. It still has very much that white base to it, and I would still consider it a Wacky Mac shade. This one you just added a bit more butter to the pot, whereas this one you kind of left it a little bit less creamy. So that's kind of how I would describe it, because apparently my mind is very much on food. But in case you were curious, or if this color kind of reminded you of Ibiza or any other color, just figured a comparison could be helpful. So I think they're definitely in the same family. This one is just a bit lighter, but I think they still very much have that neon / also white base effect to it. I think it's really cool, but just in case that happened to catch your attention as it did mine. So here is the final collection over here. I love this collection, and one of my favorite things about it is the shade Twister, because, sorry, just had to scoop them up. What's so interesting is you don't expect it to go this direction in comparison to all of the other colors that are much lighter and brighter. Even the Raspberry Ripple that ended up looking a bit more purple and darker after it was cured, it still has this brightness to it. This shade Twister, the greenness of it is so unexpected, and it almost looks like it doesn't really fit with the collection, because these are all very much like very highlightery shades. I actually have an orange highlighter that I use to highlight stuff in books that I like, different quotes and things that I use, and my highlighter is actually very much this orangey color. So this is definitely giving me like very highlighter colors, except the Twister one, and it almost looks out of place. But then I was thinking, like, pairing this with all of these colors just gives the coolest effect. So obviously you can use these colors separately from each other. You can use one color, or you can use them as a collection in one go. Like, you can use these however you want, of course, but I just feel like pairing this like murky chartreusey neon green with the rest of these bright colors is just a really unique pairing, and it really just made me think about things that I wouldn't necessarily have paired together. I wouldn't necessarily have paired this murky green color with neons in like a nail set or just color families. I feel like that's something that I would not have come up with. Yet putting them next to each other with these other colors just really brings to mind for me just a bunch of different like color combinations that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of myself. And I think it's really cool because it gives a lot of inspiration that, for me at least, let me know, would you have, like, without seeing this collection together, have paired a murky green color with a bright neon green? I don't know if I would have. And I think it's just a really cool way of giving like interesting color combinations and suggestions that you might not have thought of. It really just broadens the range for me of just like color pairings, because even pairing it with the green is really cool. And I wouldn't necessarily have paired two greens of such different undertones together. In my mind, I feel like that would have clashed, but then seeing it together with this collection just makes me realize that no, actually they look really beautiful together, and maybe I should be a little bit more open when it comes to different color combinations. Honestly, this color combination is stunning, and I kind of feel like I want these on my nails now. So honestly, I think this collection was genius. I think that Twister shade really threw a wrench, threw a twist in this collection. I think is really, really cool just to give that option for different color pairings. I think is just really genius. I love the undertones of these colors. I think they're all so fun. I think this is a great little summer treat collection. I think is really, really cute, and I really like this. So let me know your thoughts on this collection down below. Did you pick it up? Are you curious about picking it up? Which one is your favorite color? And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.